Okay, so the three kind of people skills you want to have to be a front office director, a great front office director. People skills with your guest and customer relations, people skills with your employees that you manage, and people skills with other departments of the hotel and coworkers. Not necessarily above or below you, but on the same line as you working with you. You want to have people skills with your guest, obviously. I found that to be the easiest of the three. After it's harder initially in your career, but it's easier through experience. As long as you learn to care and empathize and treat the guests as individuals and make them feel important, you'll have different problems thrown at you all the time, but you learn how to handle them. Easy. It gets easier to handle them. Secondly, you want to manage your employees properly and have people skills with your employees. Because if you just have people skills with guests and not with your employees, then you're just going to be seen as a two-faced kind of manager. A guest will be like, "Oh, he's great. He's incredibly great. He has great service skills. Great, oh man, great reviews. Customers love him." But your employees will be like, "Oh, I know who he really is. He's two-faced. That's a facade." And that makes it. If your employees don't like you in that way, then they won't respect you in that way. And if you got to have your employees like you and respect you, not be a pushover, but you don't want to be strict and cutthroat either. It's the perfect. You got to have the balance. Being a front office director is an art form. It's not an exact science. Also, thirdly, people skills with other departments, other directors in the hotel. So you want to have good communication skills with, like you say, the director of housekeeping or the director of engineering or director of sales, the director of finance, controller. If you have good relations with all of them and good communication, and you learned how to use your people skills properly with them, then you will pretty much work together as an entire hotel. If you don't have good people skills with them and good relations, then it'll become more of an us versus them kind of mentality. And that's why you see TripAdvisor reviews, or it's like, oh, the rooms were so spot clean and everything was just so clean. I've never seen anything so clean. But the service there when we came in, they were just rude. And it's this part of the hotel was great, but this part was just terrible. And it just kind of seems like you're in four different hotels at once. And like I said, like it becomes us versus them kind of mentality. That's housekeeping's fault, or oh, it's the front desk messed up again, or if you don't have good communication skills and relations with other departments, then it's gonna look like to the guest, it's gonna seem like it's gonna express itself in a way that you're not in the same hotel. It's just some are good, some are bad, and that makes the general manager and the executives look really bad. They want you to work as a team. They don't want you blaming other departments, even though it's clearly maybe their fault. You have to learn to solve the problem and learn to respect and empathize and communicate with other departments of the hotel. So, people skills with your guest. If you learn how to manage people in that sense with your customers, you got that one crossed off. You're already a pretty good manager. Secondly, with your employees, you have to learn people skills with them, the different personalities with your employees, and the respect factor and the balance between being extremely strict or an extreme pushover. If you have that second one as well, then you're a pretty damn good front office director. But if you still lack the third one, then it's just going to be like the front office is all there is in your world, and nobody else matters. Whatever makes the front office looks good, everybody else doesn't matter. So if you learn how to manage it as a whole, with other departments as a whole, then you're on your way to general manager one day if you can balance all three of these things. Director of front office, you'll be great at it, but it'll seem beneath you if you're really good at all three. So yeah, a lot of people think people skills with front office directors is just with the guest. That's the easiest part. Because once you get to being a director, we already know that you wouldn't be a director if you didn't have that. So whether it's fake or genuine or natural, learned, that's the easiest part. It's learning to balance people skills with your employees, people skills with the guest, and people skills with coworkers and other departments. You know, two books I recommend for people skills in general. They don't really apply to hotels. They apply to just learning how to manage people in general. One is the real famous one, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That one. Who is that by? Who is that by? Sorry. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a real popular one, pretty famous. That one's the platform I would say read. And then how to have confidence and power in managing people. How to have confidence and power in dealing with people by Les Giblin. That one's more in depth in handling people and kind of more applies to being a director of front office as well. So those two books are really great. Yeah, there's a bunch of different aspects of being a front office director besides the people skills, but everything else is kind of more logical and more science-based, more structure-based, and less of an art form. But the people skills is the biggest aspect of it, and those main three types of people skills. If you can learn to have those, and you got it. You build your emotional intelligence up for those, and then you use your logical side of your brain for the more structuring order kind of part. Then, yeah, like I said, you won't be a front office director for long. You're on your way to general manager. So that is about it.